I tip Newcastle to come out of this group still, but it's kind of tough now because it depends on if the other team. Yeah, wait. It depends on if the other. I see them winning the rest of the games. They'll win the rest of the games left, but it depends on if the other teams how did they beat each other, right? If PSG win one game, then what does that mean for them? I see them beating AC Milan. AC Milan. Pulisic is injured now. And they have a few shake-up on the team. AC Milan is not AC Milan of last season. They have a lot of new faces.
Yeah, but I think AC Milan is their last game of the group, which is last game. So if they lose to PSG will be on 8 points.
They'll beat PSG and they'll beat AC Milan
in France. Chioma was in the other room, so she didn't see nothing. Transit TV, welcome back again with this exciting crew. Welcome again. This day we know it's Chelsea Day. Nimi is confidently wearing his Chelsea jersey. Back to review the games, especially Chelsea. We know Chelsea went away to Spurs on Monday and got a very famous win. That game was very, very dramatic. There's so much to talk about in the game. They were also going to look at the English teams in Champions League this week. It's already concluded. Arsenal is almost it's one leg in the next round. City, we know, already qualified. Newcastle is still trying to save their lives in the group of death, so to say. United did what they've been doing recently. Yesterday. So we're going to look at those games today. And with me is Funsho is back. Good to see Funsho again. Nimi is here, of course, with his white wine. Today, he promised to come with his red wine, but I can see his white wine. Boom is here. Chioma is here. Chelsea is back. Kabu striker did what Nimi never expected him to do. We are here today. Guys, you are welcome to the show.
He's listening to this show. As a matter of fact, my guys in London tell me he's listening. He heard me and he's listening.
Okay, but anyway, he was doing.
No, I think he was doing that to Osborne. He said he listened to me. Constructive criticism.
Nice one. It's a pleasure to be here as usual. Let's do our thing. That was quite a dramatic, dramatic is the word, win for Chelsea against Tottenham.
Yeah, Chioma, welcome back. Good to see you one more time. Thank you for being reliable to this channel. Our viewers are always happy. I can see it's getting busier in the comment section, and I know Chelsea fans in our comment section. I can't wait for this edition to come out, and they will pounce on you, and they will go, of course, my humble self, as they normally do. They never listen to the topic. They just go straight and on Arsenal. They don't care what the topic is. Chioma, good to see you again.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Boom. Thank you for coming out again. Thank you. Names in the building.
Yeah, like I said, there's nowhere else to start on this one apart from the Tottenham and Chelsea game. Yeah, many thought that, of course, if you have been following the EPL this season, you always know that game was going to be exciting because Chelsea seemed to find their rhythm when they play against big teams. The first game of the season against Liverpool, they were very exciting, and that game ended in the 0-0 draw. Yeah. And against Arsenal, we also know what happened. So obviously, against Tottenham, it was always going to be an exciting game as well. And that it turned to, eventually, it became an eventful game. Tottenham having 2 red cards, and of course, Chelsea wiped them. In fact, this is I think it's their first loss of the season. And being at home again, I think that one hurt more. We know VAR has been part of the game recently, and it came again this time around. There's so much to unpack on this one. I'll start with you, Nimi. What's your overall thoughts about the game? And we'll go from there.
Yeah, viewers, again, thank you for having me. Really, really grateful, Reggie and the team, Osborne, Chioma, and Funsho. Thank you for joining us. I'm becoming a prophet, and I told you guys last week I need to open a church or something and start something. Because I told you guys, I predicted that I will be on this show today, and I will be with my white wine in the streets. They'll say smoking on some Tottenham, but it's a TV, it's a kids-friendly show, so I got a mug right here. So, but I'm sipping. I'm really excited. I'm really happy that Chelsea was able to win this game. Would it have been the same way without those red cards and the stubbornness of the coach of Tottenham?
Yeah,
Maybe it wouldn't have been that way. Because I know after past the 70th minute, he was still playing that highline. That is elementary. You can't do that in the highest level. Like you got to go deep, defend. But it's for my team. My team won. Going through the game, the formation, Reece James came back. Pochettino was stubborn as usual. Play Colwill on the left, Disasi Disasi partnering old man Thiago there, and the formation looked good. I did feel like he was going to go with a false nine as he did against Arsenal, against Tottenham. Well, he didn't do that. He went all out with my very, very posh Ferrari-like Michael Jackson, So he came in, he did his thing. I think Chelsea was lucky with this game. I think Chelsea was lucky that we came up with this victory. I'm a fan, but I think this was a victory that was given to us. It was a lucky win. Do I think this is a stepping stone to mancity? I don't think so. I think it will be a difficult game when we start going to the next week. But for this game, tactically, I think Poch still has so many questions to answer with his team selection. And the fact, what puzzles me the most is Tottenham got a red card, 2 red cards, and it took us this long to score those goals. It's puzzling. There is a fundamental issue with that team. And if you observe, even before the goal came, the misses, the near misses, Cucurella getting in there, trying to pass and trying to shoot when he should have just passed. Michael Jackson always been on the offside line. Man City won't give us that luxury. But it's 3 points, as the streets will say, we move.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And like Guma always says, I always enjoy your honest opinion on your games. Yeah, Chelsea, if you didn't watch the game, I see the scoreline, you think that Chelsea came in, there to Tottenham and left them to the ground. But the game just turned on its head toward the end of the game, considering the red card, the stubbornness, like you said. During that game, I don't know if you remember on our forum, I was chatting. I don't understand the stubbornness of Andy Koglu. I don't know what he was trying to do or trying to prove, maintaining that high line against, though Chelsea, we are a team that find it difficult to score goals, but they have pacey forward players. You have Modric, you have Sterling, Jackson, of course, I know also has some pace, and he kept doing that with 2 men down. I always knew that it was a matter of time for Chelsea to at least score 1 more goal to win the game, and that happened. So let's get into some. There was something like Nimi, like you said, Chelsea. I was watching that game the other day with the highline that Tottenham was playing. Chelsea should have found it very easy to create opportunities to score goals, but they were struggling. And looking at the Chelsea midfield, you have Enzo. Enzo begins to strike me as a midfielder that is probably, I think Chelsea is duplicating functions in the midfield. Gallagher, Enzo, and Caicedo. I don't think there's much difference between them. It's just that there are different players that actually can do the same thing. I don't think Enzo is a creative midfielder. Another is Gallagher. So I think that's one of the reasons why Chelsea is finding it difficult to create opportunities. I don't know if what you want to say about this Chelsea's problem, because people keep saying that Chelsea can't convert chances, but I've watched them and I feel it's more of not creating quality chances that's easy for a striker to score than strikers missing chance. I don't know what you think about that.
I tend to agree with you, but I think more of it lies with composure in front of goal. They create good chances. You know, I almost tore my hair out, and you can look at my head. I think I tore the rest of it out in that game because I badly wanted Chelsea to beat Tottenham for obvious reasons. So I was watching that game and hoping Chelsea. When I got the first red card and got the second red card, I was like, okay, now let's do it. I'm behind you. And then chance after chance after chance. Just needed someone to just slow down. And you would see someone on the other side just pass the ball, the person will put in the net. Or slow down,
I'll take your chance.
apply some breaks, the on-rushing defender will pass you, put the ball in the net. But Cucurella made the same mistake. Jackson did the same thing. No composure in front of goal. I was like, what am I watching? Is this the EPL? I mean, is this Chelsea? I couldn't believe the way that they wasted chance after chance after chance. And then not just the chance, the creation itself, when they had breaks from the flanks, being able to put the right ball in, being able to make the right selection, being able to just use your brain and just calm down and create an opportunity was a problem. Maybe they wanted it too much, or maybe they got so nervous, with everything happening at that point that they lost their composure. But I would say, after a day or two after that game, I was like, well, you know what? What was the final scoreline? Final scoreline was 4-1, right? Bottom line is that at the end of the day, the bumbling forward that hadn't scored, enough goals, hadn't scored anything, ended up with a hat trick.
Hat trick, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had finished that game 2-1, right, my rhetoric would be completely different. As much as I completely, I was like, and then even after the game, the first message I sent was, my Chelsea are so bad, so woeful. But then after thinking about it for a while, yes, for 70 odd minutes, 80 odd minutes, they were woeful in front of goal. But for the last 10 minutes, they were efficient in front of goal.
Yeah.
Right? They were effective and efficient. So they ended up putting the game forward. So I have to apply some balance in judging how the game went. I think they have something to take from that game. Something to take from that game is that you don't throw away the like they probably usually say, throw away the baby with the bathwater. There's a lot to criticize, but they scored 4 goals at the end of the day, right? And that's what was expected of them. And so it's a matter of just drawing confidence from the fact that you were able to put away goals. Go over the tape, watch the mistakes you made, watch the ones how you scored those goals. Then do more of that in subsequent games. I think they have the tools.
Yeah, I hear you there. Chioma, like Ugum rightly said, do you think if not for what I would call the stupidity of Romero, do you think Chelsea would have gotten a result in this game? Like Ugum said, it's good to enjoy the win. Of course, they got the 3 points. That's what matters. But on another day, if that game we had to have been played 11 against 11 all day, do you think Chelsea would have done enough to come away with 3 points or even get a draw from that game?
Anyway, you know how everyone has just, mentioned their mistakes and what they didn't do well and where they should pick up from. I think we're all right. But firstly, I want to commend them for actually faking it till they made it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain this. Because if they didn't come off as people who were willing to match Tottenham boot for boot, Romero wouldn't have been so, fussy that he got too fussy and he got a card. Because as far as I'm concerned, while I was watching that game, I was like, Romero, you're getting too easy, getting very fussy, you're going to get a card. So kudos to Chelsea for actually, I don't know what everybody thought about the lineup, but I felt like, the lineup with James, when I saw Reece, I was like, okay, fine. That's like very serious business right there. So Chelsea actually had this attitude of faking it. They faked it for the first how many minutes, and Tottenham were actually standing on their toes. Because, Romero went out, and then there was another red card. Okay? And you know how much I love the Tottenham winger, Kulusevski. He gassed out. My guy gassed out. He was stressed. And it was this child, Colwell. I don't know, I think they had some run-ins and all of that, but he gassed out. He wasn't 100% the way he used to be. So for me, I can't even believe like I'm actually giving high five to Chelsea, but they actually made some moves that were actually convincing, that made Tottenham give in, and they got what they got. Like Whoop said, last, they got some points. And imagine Chelsea being where they are in the table with so much pressure. Okay, there's this pressure. Now there's another pressure of them trying to do well, to get to, a safe place in the table. And then Arsenal fans are out there hoping that, Chelsea, that nobody wants to bet on, would actually make things happen. And then they were playing against Tottenham that never lost since the season. Everybody has been singing about Angie this, Angie this, Angie that. Okay, so it was enough pressure. Do I think that, they made some mistakes? Of course, they made some rookie mistakes, like Cinderella, who mentioned the whole, being calm on the ball. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, where are they all running to? I don't want to blame, everybody knows who Raheem is. Once Raheem is running from this wing, he doesn't think, he doesn't stop. Okay, I think he's actually in that wing to get some sort of control. But guys, like the ones that are supposed to be the forwards, like the real ones, they need to think, but they're not thinking. So we all saw the mistakes, but am I proud of them? 60%. I actually put my money on them to actually mess it up, but they came through, and I'm very happy, like in every way. So I don't think, Tottenham's misfortune single-handedly gave them this win. I think they had, some impact. They came with a game plan.
Yeah, definitely. Chelsea was, like I said, they've shown to do good against big teams in EPL all through the season. The first one of the season against Liverpool was a surprise to everybody, and I thought they were going to continue from there. Obviously, after that game, they went to the Chelsea we have seen all season. Then against Arsenal, they came to life again. The Tottenham has come again, and so that's why I remember our man Bados is also basking again that against City, that Chelsea is going to win. He's going to win City on Saturday. So we'll wait and see that.
Reggie, before you go on, I'm so happy today. Osborne, you look good in blue. I see the victory impacted you. For the first time, I'm seeing you in blue. You look good in blue.
Okay. Thank you. Once I get home now, I'll take it off and put on my red.
Yeah, for sure. I guess you watch the game. So let me stay with you on Tottenham. A lot of people, or a few Tottenham fans, have been making noise in the airwaves that they're in the title contenders this season. They're going to win the league and stuff like that. We all know that even City cannot make claim of winning the league at this stage of the season. But Tottenham, we are unbeaten until this game. And we know what happened to Arsenal last season, mostly because they didn't have the squad depth to go the long haul. Now Tottenham has gone to, I think, 2 injuries and 2 suspensions from that game. Obviously, in the next 2 games, they're going to miss potentially 4 starters in their game. What do you think is going to be the impact of this predicament on Tottenham going forward?
I think Tottenham are who we think they are, right? They're not that team that can go long in the season. And sadly, they're dealing with discipline issues, and they're dealing with injury issues also. Right now, they're missing 5 players. Mickey is out, James Maddison is out, Ben Davies is out, Ryan Sessegnon is out, Richarlison is having surgery on pelvic. So
and the defender too hopped out. I think it was hamstring. The Dutch guy.
Yeah, he walked away. That was very painful to watch at full speed. So for Tottenham, they had the spark that Arsenal had when we were winning games in the beginning of the season. The only difference is we were able to keep up. At least we held it for more than a month or two.
For 8 months.
For 8 months, yeah, that was a lot. And Tottenham really, they had a few lucky wins on the way here. They could have built on that momentum. Jorginho gave them a hard game. That was a gift. They could have, they could have hanged on a little bit at least for the next couple of months and see it through. But I don't, and the reason why actually I was believing in hype, because November schedule, this game, I'll say City game is the only tough game they have in November. Right? They're going to play Wolves next. Then Aston Villa, they might get a point from Aston Villa. They have West Ham. Mancity is the only tough game until come December. So I thought at least they will hold it for one more month. But right now, I don't see that happening. I actually see Wolves beating them in the next game. Reason why, a lot of injuries. And I think they were too ambitious for themselves with all the nonsense high line that they were playing. That was one of the that's cocky, and I'm happy they got beat, right? And even though the hat trick by Jackson is one of the worst hat trick in history, people say you can't have.
No, don't say that. No,
you can't have. He has a 6.7 rating, 6.7, and scored 3 goals.
You think it's easy? Go and do
it.
You know what? Go and do it.
If I'm collecting 200K a week, I'll make sure I can do it. But right now, I'm not. But Tottenham, I think they're done. Sadly, I think they're going to fall up here. I actually don't see them making the top 4 because I don't think Son can carry the team. That's all they have right now. Kulusevski is there. They have 2 guys. They have Son and Kulusevski. And maybe, I don't know how far these guys can take them. They are very busy too, right? They're playing a lot of league games, according to Premier League games. So we should expect more injuries and tight schedule. Very tough game. So actually, you know what? If I'll make a bold prediction, I don't see them making top 4 this season. With the way things are going. And it's a good start. Happy, but it is what it is. And in terms of the opponent that they just played against, like I said, Chelsea also have a lot coming. I have to touch that a little bit. They have a very tough November. They escaped this one. But guess what? They're going to play Newcastle, mancity on November 12th, Newcastle November 25, Brighton December 3rd. So it's going to be a rough month for both for Chelsea. But back to Tottenham, they have a coach that's experimenting. They asked him a question. Why did you do that? He said, well, for as long as we exist, if we ever down one player, we'll do the same thing again. And I pray they do that against Manchester City. I pray they do that against Arsenal. I pray they do that against Newcastle. And we might see 8 goals. Chelsea was nice. Chelsea should have scored at least 8 in that game. Yeah, so that's my take right now.
Yeah, that game was a potential 9-1 game. And before we move on, there's something that has been bothering me when I watch games at this level. Most of the time, I see defenders do, and that was what gave Tottenham their first goal. This idea of defenders putting their hands at the back in the name of avoiding silly penalties. I always believe that demobilizes a defender. If a striker or if a skilled striker tries to fake you and go the other way, before you can get your momentum to defend, it's always difficult to go with the flow of the game at that point. I don't know what maybe one person, somebody should. I don't know if I'm going out of reading. Yeah, and that's how Tottenham got their goal as well. The deflection from Kobe. I don't know what defenders. I don't know who taught the new professional players this idea of putting your hand at the back in the name of avoiding penalty, and then you can no longer move. You can't move your body. You're only left with just hoping that the player actually strikes the ball and hits your body. I don't know do you have a view on that?
Yeah, that's how difficult it has become to play at the highest level. The difficulty there is that a defender gets blamed when he handles the ball in the penalty box. We see it all the time. If it's your defender, the defender gets scapegoated for it, right? The only way they can avoid doing that, especially with very smart strikers, these days, therefore, there's someone like Neymar, always constantly looking to chip that ball right by your side past you. If your hand is hanging, even if it's just 2 centimeters away from your body, it's a penalty. And who gets blamed? Pundits, fans, coaches, everyone blames the defender. So the first thing they'll ask you is, at this level, why would you leave your hands hanging? Right? And so it's become almost impossible for somebody to properly defend. This thing you're saying, I noticed it the other day when I was watching Gabriel.
Every time,
yeah. So it just, there's no, you see, it's so hard now to actually even play the game properly the way it used to be played, because they nitpick on everything. Fans nitpick on everything. You become the topic on social media for weeks on after a game, right? So you do what you can do. So I don't blame defenders for that at all. It's just what that's the sign of the times.
Yeah, because the thing I was looking at it. Okay, so let's move to English teams in the Champions League this week. It started with on Tuesday, City did what they normally do. They've qualified already. We already know they qualified, and they consolidated that. And Newcastle went away to Dortmund and got dismantled, lost the game 2-0. So let's look at it. There's no way I don't really want to waste. City fans, I hope my hands up. You guys are cruising. There's no waste a lot of airtime talking about your game until it gets to the knockout stage. So we're gonna move straight to the Newcastle and Dortmund game, which for me, I believe it was an exciting game. I watched 90 minutes of that match. The Newcastle tried to stay in the game. Dortmund, on the other hand, came through. Though it was a surprise to many that Dortmund, who hasn't been doing well recently, managed to. And the only thing I found in that game was that what I've been saying about Newcastle and Eddie Howe seemed not to have an identity. He seems to fold in when in big games, play this low block thing and try to hit teams on a counter, which the Newcastle tried against Dortmund, and it wasn't effective. They lost that game. It was until I think the last quarter of the match before Newcastle tried to push forward. And by then it was already late, and Dortmund got their second goal. So I don't know, Chioma, what was the overall? Did you watch that game, and what do you think about how that game panned out?
I did. I was so excited. Because, of course, you remember what happened last week. They came with their bullish pattern of play, and then they go again thinking that they can get it done again with Dortmund. They never had a game plan, just like with Arsenal. They did. I said it here. They don't have a game plan. And once we know that these guys don't have a game plan, the whole of last season, I was so full of respect for their defense. Okay, because I think we've said it here before, if there was something that saved Newcastle last season, it was their defense. But then they come this season, they are becoming more bullish. Yeah, I know they have a thing for tall players and 6'6" and 6'7", all of that. And then they carry that same mentality, the same thing they did in England with Arsenal, and they'll go again. The only time they have a game plan is when they are playing Isak. But guess what? Isak is injured.
Yeah.
So now we are left with a bunch of bullying human beings doing nothing. They didn't have any game plan against Dortmund.
Yeah, Callum Wilson, I don't know if he's a defender or a striker. He's always looking to
Wilson.
Yeah, Nimi, I know you say Kabu striker. That one is a Jambody striker.
Yeah, he's just an elder statesman. I guess they're just keeping him because he looks good and he whatever. But it's not even an issue for me. But all I'm saying is when they're not playing Isak, they play lost. Okay? And it's a pity. It's a pity sometimes. They don't even know how to put their players together, because I'm not saying Joe Willock, because Willock was my boy, still my boy, There's something about him. If he starts a game and does it 90 minutes, I don't know what his mileage is, by the way, but they don't have plans for that boy that much. They always like to put him as a sub. Okay, so for me, I was so excited because I kept telling someone, I said, this is what they are going to do. They don't have Isak, so there's nobody to build a game plan around. So they're just going to try to bully people. And then they went there and Dortmund beat them blue-black, in fact. So I got what I wanted and, it proves my point.
Yeah, let me stay with you. Looking at that group, of course, before we kick a ball in this Champions League this season, it was dog the group of death. And it has proved to be so. After 4 games, then Dortmund is sitting first on the table with 7 points. And of course, PSG and AC Milan all have 5 points, with Newcastle 4 points. All 4 teams still have a chance of making it to the next stage. So it's looking very, very dodgy, and there's so much to come. Do you see Newcastle making out of that group by any chance? The next game, I think, is against PSG, and then they play AC Milan. I think the last game will be against AC Milan at home.
Well, what I'll say, Chioma, please move on from that last week. Arsenal beat down. Just move on. Move on. Accept it and move on. It's past. What I'll say is this. I heard Chioma talk, but one thing you guys are forgetting is when you play in the Champions League, it comes with experience. You may technically have the best players or players that you bring together, but Dortmund has been playing in Champions League year after year. They have that experience in the Champions League. PSG has the same team. AC Milan went all the way to the semifinals last year. When was the last time Newcastle played in the Champions League? I think
23 years ago.
So you're bringing
the same thing for Arsenal.
No, I'm coming. No. It's different. No, it's different. It's different. The reason I'm saying so is this. It's different because Arsenal has been playing European football too. Newcastle hasn't. For over 23 years, they don't have that European experience. Am I giving that as an excuse? No. But you got to factor in that. Manchester City, the first season they came into the Champions League, they were bounced out in the group stage. Does that mean Patrick Vieira, Carlos Tevez, and all these players that they had were bad players? No, they weren't. It was just that experience of playing that team. I bet you if Newcastle will qualify in the top 4 this season, next year will be a different story. They will have better experience. Going to that game, as you said, it's a group of death. Dortmund has 7 points, PSG has 6, AC Milan has 5, Newcastle has 4. Going into this group, we all agreed Newcastle, nobody gave Newcastle a chance of qualifying. So right now they are punching within their weights. When they beat PSG, it was like, oh, they want to punch outside their weight. No. They're a cruiserweight fighter in a heavyweight bout. So let us leave that out there right now. I think it's going to be a 3-horse race between AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, and PSG in that group. And I'm going to tip PSG out of experience will qualify. And I'm going to say Borussia Dortmund will make it through on that group too. So to be a Borussia Dortmund and PSG qualification from that group. So as regards that group, it's living up to its weight. I'm loving it, and it's going to be decided on the last day, which is a win-win for sports and soccer lovers like us.
Ugum, I know the Dortmund they've made this record of being a hybrid or an upgraded Ajax. They always produce an exciting talent every season, make money, and next season somebody else comes up, just like RB Leipzig. What did you make about this young man Brandt? His performance in that game, and do you think he's a talent that can go all the way?
Brandt has been linked to Arsenal for 3-4 years running now. I know him very well. Very good player, cerebral player, doesn't have a lot of presence on the field, but very smart player. Excellent link-up, play. Excellent as a support striker. Has a good shot. Has good passing range. Somebody I've always liked. The only thing is, I'm wondering whether in the EPL, whether he will be quite as successful as he's been in Germany, because EPL requires a lot of mental strength, and physical presence, right? He doesn't have that physical presence yet, although he's quite tall, so it will be a case of getting, if he signs for any club in the EPL, getting into the gym and being able to lift a few weights and, looking like Modric had to do over the summer to get ready for the league. So, yeah. But as for the smartness and the ability, he's got tons of talent. But the window is passing for him. He needs to, if he's going to leave Germany, he needs to make that move within the next year because it's been 2-3 years now, 4 years actually, that he's been linked with a move to the EPL.
Yeah, so Funsho, do you agree with Nimi that about how that group is going to pan out, or do you have different ideas?
I mean, I always put Premier League clubs ahead of any other leagues, and the reason why we've seen the transition in the past couple of years with one Premier League team, or even sometimes two, were at the Champions League final. And I tipped Newcastle to come out of this group still, but it's kind of tough now because it depends on if the other team. Yeah, wait. It depends on if the other. I see them winning the rest of the games. They'll win the rest of the games left, but it depends on if the other teams how did they beat each other, right? If PSG win one game, then what does that mean for them? I see them beating AC Milan. AC Milan. Pulisic is injured now. And they have a few shake-up on the team. AC Milan is not AC Milan of last season. They have a lot of new faces.
Yeah, but I think AC Milan is their last game of the group, which is last game. So if they lose to PSG will be on 8 points.
They'll beat PSG and they'll beat AC Milan
in France.
They'll beat yes.
Wow, Funsho,
write it down.
This gotta be.
Write it down.
I don't
write it down because PSG is not a PSG that we know. Didn't AC Milan almost beat PSG? They did that. What's the score?
No, Funsho, the way you write it down. You're not acting like Nigerian politicians.
No, it's true. It's true.
It's the second prophet on the channel. We have one prophet, so this is the second one.
No, I'm serious. Okay, look at PSG's last couple of games. AC Milan beat PSG, right? I don't think is. Are you guys still with me?
Yeah.
Okay. AC Milan beat PSG 2-1, right? Even though PSG already beat them before, I don't think PSG are the same team. I don't see Neymar carrying the team by himself. He's the only guy they've got right now.
Yeah, Neymar.
No, Mbappe. I meant Mbappe. He's the only guy that they have. Messi's not there. Neymar is not there. He cannot carry this team. I don't see it happening.
Dembele
is there. The guy didn't do anything while he was in Barcelona. I don't see any magic happening. I think Dembele is past his prime. And the reason why I'm saying that is Newcastle is a very dangerous team. Even though they have no plan, like you mentioned earlier yesterday, they really truly have no plan. But what happened is they didn't lose by that much and they still stayed in the game, right? They have more possession than Dortmund, right? They didn't have more goals on target like Dortmund, but I think they gave it a good fight, right? Look at us, like you look at they didn't take enough shots, like you said. They're missing Isaac, and Wilson. I just never trust in that guy. Like you guys said, is he a scorer? Is he a defender, or does he want to fight? I don't know what he's there to do, and I see them bouncing back. Would that be enough? I don't know. But I don't see them losing the last two games. And just because I think Premier League team preparation is at a different level compared to League One, to Serie A. It's a whole other level. I think what really won the game for Dortmund is the home court advantage. It's really tough playing at home. The fans are wild. The stadium is crazy. I think that level of intimidation kind of play a role in there, give them the little bold. And it's a surprise defeat for me because Newcastle have a momentum to build on and they're a very good team. They moved the ball very well. Miguel Almiron really wasn't on target as much as he could. Dortmund took credit of the game anyway. They were banging in shots right away. Eventually, goals went in. That was not the case for Newcastle. They have more passes. They actually beat Dortmund everywhere else but goals. So they play beautiful football. It wasn't their day. I think they'll bounce back, but the bottom line is, what is the scores among the other games? That might fail them. So if they miss out, then I think it's just unlucky. But I think they're a very good team, and they have not even spent money yet. This team is very good and solid. They have a lot of young talent. Now, maybe they're missing that guy, that gambling guy, Tonali.
Yeah. Yeah, but
maybe that's the difference.
Lately,
right?
He has not really been playing. He's even been playing as a sub. So I don't think
Yeah.
he's the problem that I think Newcastle has is, like I said earlier on, when they come to big games, they tend not to have any plans going forward. They rely more on individual or eventful
Talent.
favors happening in their way, and they go with it. If Eddie Howe needs to be a little bit more brave with his approach in some of these big games, I think they have the players to do it. The tricky thing for them is, like you said, Funsho, results either way, because if Dortmund manages to win AC Milan the next game, Dortmund qualifies, because they will be 10 points, and that's done. Then
that's done, yeah.
So it's going to now be between Dortmund, AC Milan, PSG, and Newcastle. Newcastle already is the last on the table. So if
that's rough.
They don't win PSG, maybe they go and play a draw. Then even if they win AC Milan their last game, it might not be enough to get them to the next round. So it's very tricky for them. And we only, as the EPL fans, we hope that things go in their favor, and we celebrate with them. Then we'll go to United traveling to Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, yeah.
Yeah, that game, I don't know, United, I've been saying it on this time, United can't just play football for 90 minutes. Either they start good or they start bad and end good. They can't just play 90 minutes with the same momentum. They started that game in a very sharp way, scored 2 goals, and all of a sudden the game turned on its head, and we're talking about a 4-3 loss to Copenhagen. I don't know where to start from this one. In the first 20 minutes, United were looking like a different team. Wan-Bissaka, after coming back from his injury, looked like a different defender, was going forward, making things happen in the final third for United. Højlund got his 2 goals, and it was looking like the United were going to be cruising in this one. And all of a sudden, Copenhagen got 1 goal, and everything turned upside down. We know Rashford got his red card, which we're going to talk about. I have my reservation about that card, though. So I don't know. What was you guys' general thought about, how that game panned out?
I'll let Osborne go first, since he's a certified referee.
We're talking about the game against Copenhagen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The VAR thing has taken over. It's so dramatic. It's so hard to really look through a game now and not have something to say about VAR. I think United presently have real psychological issues. The way that they crumbled reminds me, there was the time that Arsenal passed through that phase, that you knew that if Arsenal were beating you 2-0, people, even fans, are still suffering from PTSD regarding that, even up till now. You feel like, hey, 2-0, once the other team gets one, everybody panics.
That's bad,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's happening to United. It's a mess. A mess such that I really don't know how they can solve. I was watching some of the reactions from their fans yesterday, and one person described Amrabat as a complete, a complete headless chicken of a midfielder. I was like, this is the same Amrabat as 2 months ago that was supposed to be the savior of the world. That was supposed to transform. That was supposed to transform their midfield. They've already started condemning the guy. The guy doesn't pass the ball, doesn't know how to pass, and all that. The team really needs help. I think Ten Hag at this point needs serious help, because they are on a real downward spiral. and there's a problem in the dressing room, obviously, because if you watch Varane's body language yesterday, it was completely off. Many people noticed it. You know, he wasn't happy at all. Even when he was coming in, he wasn't, you know, you could see that there was something wrong. So I think their problem lies from the dressing room. As for VAR, it's well documented. Everybody's seeing it. Everybody's experiencing the pains of VAR, hoping that they can learn from these situations and do better, stay more consistent. If this decision happens in this game, the referee in the other game should be able to interpret it the same way. It's just the inconsistencies that's causing all the hoopla and people just not being happy with decisions made by VAR.
Yeah, Nini, talk us through the carelessness of you know, I said this thing one day, and we all laughed about it. I don't know if this player from back is a trap that Badola introduced to football to help him dominate teams. It seems that teams don't understand the principles of this player from back. They think he just do it anyhow. These guys seem to be very, very careless in the first half and gifted the United 2 goals. You know, talk us through what are the lessons from, because if they were as tidy as they grew into the game, I don't think we're talking about, you know, United giving away 2 goals lead. Now, what's your take about Copenhagen?
I think Copenhagen, in every soccer, Osborne will agree with me. Refereeing games in every soccer, if you did something the first time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The first leg that they played in Old Trafford, although it was in Old Trafford, they totally dominated Manchester United, and they had the same pattern. They played from the back, and you know they said, is it Mike Tyson that says everybody has a plan until you're punched in the face? So they got punched 2 times, and the red card happened. It's part of soccer, but that's how they play. That's their style of play. You're not going to go to Mancity and see a different style. You're not going to go to Eddie Howe has a style of play. Arteta has a style of play. So they're going to always play like that. As regards Manchester United, yes, I agree. I even heard someone say Amrabat is an Amrabat because he doesn't appear for the balls. His heads are always there. It's as if you watch Amrabat. You could see the Manchester United players are devoid of confidence. Little things that they could do before right now, as a soccer player, when you start self-doubting yourself, that's when you know it's over. And what that entails is there must be a change. Either the player leaves or the coach has to leave. At this point now, it has gotten to that point. I'll give you an example as a goalkeeper. The moment you start out of criticism, people from bench, outside, oh, look at him, he can't do it. The moment that gets into you, and you start losing doubt in yourself, you start making silly mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes. And that's what's happening to Manchester United. As regards the caliber of players that they have, I think that most of these players too, last season when Erik ten Hag came, it was a breath of fresh air. He came in, he was bullish, talking about discipline. Players watch. What he did to Sancho may have lost him that dressing room. When he came out openly to criticize Jadon Sancho, that may have lost him that dressing room. And those players, you talked about Varane, you talked about all those players of that team, even the captain, Bruno. I don't think they're playing for the manager because I know their capabilities are more than what they're doing there. They're giving, I see Rashford scored over 24 goals last season. Do you think he's happy with Haaland coming in now? And now he got a drip all the way to the left. And guess what happens? Now you're talking about Haaland more. You're not talking about Rashford. Now all you can see, Rashford has gone down. If you watch this game, back to when Ole was there, back to when even Radnik was there. His level has dropped. He's not happy. You could see the body language of the players. They are not happy being there. So a critical change needs to happen at Manchester United. And I know for sure when it comes to management does not change 20 players out of the team. They will change a manager. So I'm looking at this point right now where there used to be a divorce in that marriage between Ten Hag and Manchester United.
Yeah, I know people talk about Jadon Sancho, but for me, I believe Erik ten Hag's problem started when he removed Harry Maguire as the captain of Manchester United. I believe that's when his problem started. Because I have some information that he's a very, very popular figure in the dressing room, and he actually has helped United go through, with his leadership qualities, go through some difficult times in the past and come through them. So it looks like already Ten Hag had already started having issues with especially the English players in the squad. And of course, then Sancho's on came on board, and it's going to be, like Nimi said, I don't know how he's going to win back this dressing room, if he will ever. And if he doesn't, does the board stick with him? Are they going to watch the team keep moving backwards instead of forward? Because as it stands now, if United does not win their next game, they are out of Champions League this season. And there is a chance that they might not even make it for Europa. And if that happens, I don't think it's going to be a welcome development for the club. Chioma, Arsenal 2, Sevilla 0. And Arsenal is cruising one leg into the next stage of the Champions League. Talk us through that game. What was your thoughts about the game?
Hey, that game was pepper. I don't know if Nimi agrees with me. I'm sure he didn't watch it. He was still beefing.
Trust me, Chioma. I always follow Arsenal game just to make sure I can smile and laugh. But I watched it.
Okay, I'm happy. Where do I start from now? Where do I start from?
Start from Martinelli, and let's have a Trossard.
Martinelli, Moko Bioma, only the Igbos will understand this. You know, when you realize that the weight of the world is on your shoulder and you carry it like a man, it's more than being a fast winger. It's about creativity. So I need to tell the truth anyway. So when I saw the formation, I saw Jorginho, I was like, God, I beg. Jorginho, how far? Like, how are we going to do today? Do you understand? Like, I wasn't really convinced he was going to bring it and all of that. But, you know, he came in and became the player that we've always expected him to be, mature and, you know, calm and together. There's Martinelli, there's Saka, there's Jorginho, and of course, there's Declan Rice. You guys, like, for every time that guy plays, we need to send like 100 euros to every West Ham fan, because we stole from these guys. We stole from them.
That is awesome, man. That guy is.
We stole. That's all I have to say. We did that.
Yeah, Ugum. I know the last game I criticized Saka a little bit. I think I was having a conversation and I told you that Saka, for me, I think this season he hasn't managed to find. I know that double teaming him. You are saying that day, and I said, yeah, I know, but big players always find a way to outsmart the opponent. We're not going to keep writing on this excuse that teams are not beginning to put 2 or 3 players on him. That's why he's not shining. No, it doesn't. I know that's a fact, but I mean, you need to be smarter. But it looks like in this game, Saka found a different way to do his thing. Obviously, Sevilla were a little bit more expansive. And we have seen this season that in Europe, Arsenal's pattern of play is more suited to play in the Champions League than the EPL. So what did you make about Saka's performance in this game? Obviously, he provided the first goal and scored the second one himself, which for me is a hallmark of a very important player in a team.
The only worry I've ever had about Saka, with all the stuff going on, is just the worry of his health, as far as injuries are concerned. As long as Saka is on the field, which is why the manager will never sub the guy, will not remove the guy, will, if it's possible, not rest the guy. Fans can blab all they want to blab, shout all they want to shout. You know, the guy is as durable as leather, right? He doesn't, you know, he's very durable, but then my biggest worry is that most of the kicks he gets are either on his heels. His ankle, heel, knees, And this part of the body of the leg that's behind the back of the shin. What's that place called?
The calf, I
The
think.
calf.
Calves, the calves, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he gets kicked on the calves a whole lot. And so over time, when you constantly get kicked that way, these things slow you down, these things affect you, these things and so I felt that for the first few weeks of the season, few matches of the season, coupled with the fact that he didn't get a rest in the summer, he's just been playing non-stop for the past number of years, that it was at some point it was going to start affecting him. And of course, if any coach is preparing to play Arsenal, the first two things you do is to watch Saka and watch Martinelli. Make plans for them. And so coaches plan for these two guys. So, I felt that at a point he was going to still click back into that top form. Not that he was even playing that badly. It was just that the team, the team is still trying to develop a new identity. It's happening to almost everyone. So not just Saka. But the person I want to mention is Martinelli. Yeah. If I were a member of Arteta's coaching crew, after that game, I would have dragged Martinelli to one side and just given him a gentle slap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. His
that guy holds on to the ball way too long. He holds on to the ball way too long. I read his interview where he was saying that he asked his teammates to give him the ball when he tried to get the fullback. He got the better of the fullback once, twice. He got the confidence infusion. He wanted to keep taking the fullback on. Yes, that's fine. But I counted at least 3-4 occasions where I expected this young man to release the ball. Now you've dribbled the fullback. Why do you have to pull back and dribble him 2 or 3 times again? Right? When people have made runs, is that smart Belgian boy? What's his name?
Trossard.
Trossard made runs. He was in there. For goodness sake, Martinelli, just cross the ball to Trossard to score. He will bring the ball back, do it again, bring the ball. I was like, man, yes, this is okay.
Yeah.
But
To that point, don't you think that, because I think he doesn't do that a lot when he's playing with what's his name? Zinchenko. Tomiyasu doesn't do overlapping runs. So which takes away the defender and creates more space for the winger to do damages. So I think probably because he was playing with Tomiyasu, who doesn't give him that width. That's why that happens. I'm not making an excuse, but I'm just thinking probably that's one of the. I understand what you're saying. I felt that way too. Another thing I also feel that his problem is most of the time when he tries to cross the ball, he made some bad crosses. Apparently, he was not dealing with confidence. I don't want to do it and play rubbish. Let me just find another way. And in trying to do that, it's caught up in his mind. Maybe before I go to funsho, let me ask you as a goalkeeper. Tell me what you think about playing behind a William Saliba as a goalkeeper.
Oh wow, that is I don't know if you can hear me. That is a dream come true when you could have a player that has that leadership quality. I look at William Saliba as a future Arsenal captain. He's someone that commands the respect. Yeah. And when you're playing with someone like Saliba, I'll give you an instance. The husband can relate to what I'm saying. Husband, the first season we won SLN, I played with perfect quality defenders. I had Manny. I don't know if you remember Manny and all those guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, Manny.
Manny. You remember Manny? I played with them.
Of course.
I talk. Before I say A, they already know B. And I was so confident in them. We played 6 group games. We conceded like maybe 3-4 goals. The second season, when I went, remember the second season we won, I played with, I wouldn't name their names, but I played with 2 separate center backs. You are part of that team. Hey, don't keep high line. They have no speed. They will move all the way to the middle. And they just drop the ball. And they just go in the first 3 games, we considered over 10 goals. The same team that considered less than 3 goals in 6 games considered 10 goals. And it was coming from the defense, miscommunication. And as a goalkeeper, once you see those defenders again, you feel at ease. Now you're making saves that you don't even take because you're not panicking. You're not doubting yourself. You know you could trust on this guy. So that's what Saliba gives. And that's why whenever he's not there, there is this doubt start creeping in. It's the defense line is not as quality as before. Saliba can stroll into any team at the moment and he will start.
The confidence, the calmness.
He reads, end it with this. Saliba reads the game even before the balls are played. He already knows what's going to happen. So that's the kind of defender that every goalkeeper would cherish to play with.
Yeah, for sure. Chioma mentioned Declan Rice earlier. Let me stay with you on Declan Rice. And yeah, Nimi has said all he said about William Saliba, but Declan Rice is one player that seems to have an impact in every move. There's no 1 minute or 2 minutes that passes that he's not involved in an Arsenal, whether that breaking play, progressing play, or something. Talk us through what you have made of Declan Rice, especially in this game, and what is going to be his impact going forward.
I think is a total package. It's actually saving Jorginho's career a lot. Because the guy is saving it. Now look at that game against Chelsea, right? The only reason we came back to win that game was he was well positioned, got the ball, take the shot right then. Few things that the guy does very well: he distribute ball very well. Sometimes you get the ball and he just turn. Oh, before you even get the ball, you're ready.
It's so mobile and durable.
Very mobile, very fluid, and he already before the ball will come to me, the guy already scanned. I like players like that. That they know where the guy's at, but they'll scan one more time before the ball touches their leg. Then they already beat the defender because some people will collect the ball first and now scan. By that time they scan, they try to react.
Yeah.
Somebody already booked you in. I think it's a money well spent, but I'll also credit the team that he came onto too. Arsenal is a team. Arsenal is a solid team. I keep saying this. If you play on this last season and this season Arsenal, and you are not a good player, it has to be your village people or someone because it's easy to look good on this team because everyone. The only part that we kind of like lost fitness. I was midfielders. Our forward was not a lot change. The same guy we started with last year are there. We lost Xhaka this year, and now we have Rice, Jorginho to fill in. And sometime when in Jorginho, we have someone else, and Partey is injured. So, and I think if not for Declan Rice, our midfield would be the reason for us to lose way many games than we've been losing. Because you take Partey out of that, then what do we have? But the Rice coming in the league, he fit in very well. He didn't need a whole season to get accustomed to the team.
Exactly.
That's so with him, I like him. It looked like I said, Chelsea game, he was controlling the game. Even the last game we lost to Newcastle, he was controlling that game. We were just unlucky, to come away with a win. It's 100 million well spent. Are we gonna spend it again? If it's the same guy, I say spend that money. Because it takes us a while to find a midfielder like him. Fast pace. Sometimes you see him a lot of time actually take the ball all the way to the box by himself.
Yeah, it's carrying.
It's good.
Great, yeah.
And it doesn't put you at risk because what a lot of players do is they'll carry, lose the ball. Now you have a counter. Whenever he has the ball, he always gives to someone else.
Yeah, he's safe. He's a safe carrier. Yes, he's a safe carrier.
So the football IQ is very high. Decision making, A+, passing distribution. Part of the reason why we have a high passing percentage in the game. He will give somebody a ball that allows them to play 2-3 more touches going with the team. So I like him a lot. That's what I think about Declan Rice now. He's a keeper. I hope we continue to have good quality players like him.
Yeah. So to say, I think English teams are poised to make you into the last stage of the Champions League. Obviously, Arsenal is one leg into it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. Let me see. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
I can. I don't know about
Yeah. Arsenal is poised to qualify to the next stage. City is already there. United, with all their bad performance, looking at their table in their group, still has a chance of qualifying. Newcastle, of course, we have discussed, also has a chance, though it's looking their last on the table in the group, but they still have a very good chance because it's tied in that group. So we look forward and hope that the English teams, if not, or at least more than half of the 4 teams representing England this season in Champions League will make it out of the group stage and go into the knockout stage, which gives England a chance of returning the cup this season. Many have said that Arsenal's way of playing is suited more to the European game, which we have seen. Though lack of maturity caused them, they would have qualified by now because it was going to France and taking a lead 1-0. They are looking to run away with 3 points in that game, but obviously we know what happened. Out of lack of maturity or handling of game, they lost that game. So we look forward and hope that English teams will do us proud this season in Europe.